Yeah, I guess I'll start with introductions and pardon my limited knowledge about you and your company, but so Megan Goodman, she's a, what is the official title? Customer management.
So I do our talent brand. So I'm a talent brand manager.
Right. And so Rackspace is a very interesting company. It's a company that many of us are served in one way or another, but it's one of those brand names that we don't always see. We actually had a similar company 2 years ago, Sykes. So again, a company that specializes in IT services and call centers and all that stuff. So often when we call a bank and somebody picks up the phone and talks to us, it's Sykes that organized that call, but we don't know that. So same thing with Rackspace. So I'm personally eager to learn more about the company. So we have a few students watching live, and we have quite a few questions sent by email from the students who couldn't attend live. So I suggest we start with a quick introduction of the company, and then we will go question and answer if that's okay with you.
Yeah, absolutely. That sounds great. I did prepare a few slides, so I can go ahead and share my screen. Can you see that okay?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Okay, let's see what happens when I go in presentation mode. I want to be able to make sure I can kind of see what's going on.
Yeah, it's working. So it shows sort of the whole picture, but we'd see the slides themselves too, so all good.
Okay, so you're kind of seeing the next slide as well?
Yeah. And I think it's always, I'm not sure if you have one screen or multiple screens connected to your computer, but sometimes it selects not the right mode.
Right.
But the main slide covers pretty much most of the screen, so it works very well, no problem.
Okay, well, as long as this is okay and everyone can see everything, I do have another screen. So Mac is being fickle with Zoom right now. But as long as this works for everyone, I'll go ahead and get started.
Pretty well, yeah.
Okay, perfect. So thank you so much for having me, and I'm really thrilled to be spending time with you all today and telling you a little bit more about Rackspace. Again, quick introduction of me, Megan Goodman. I'm on our talent acquisition team here at Rackspace. Been at Rackspace almost 7 years, and actually started out as an intern at Rackspace and have grown to a global talent acquisition leader on the team. Just to kind of set expectations with you all, my expertise is more about Rackspace, our history, sharing with you a little bit more about culture and what it's like to work here. I will do my very best to give you the high level on business and products and services and all of that. But any questions that you might have, I will take note of and then pass to our product team and our product manager that was responsible for putting together the business case that you all will be working on, and then get those answers to you shortly. Yeah. So I just wanted to go ahead and set that expectation with you because I'm definitely anticipating maybe some more complicated questions that I'm not going to be able to answer today. So hopefully that works okay.
And that's perfectly fine.
Okay.
We'll have a more detailed meeting in San Antonio once we're there in 2 weeks. So for now, we just wanted to learn general information about the company,
absolutely,
history, products, things like that.
Perfect. So we're all aligned. That sounds great. Okay. And then before I jumped in, I just want to say we're thrilled to be the partner company for this competition. Super excited to see what you all provide us and prepare, and to have that opportunity to engage with you on the business case and give feedback, and just super thrilled to be a part of this competition and your development. So just wanted to share that as well. We're very happy. Okay, so to go ahead and jump right in here, I'm going to talk a little bit about the Rackspace story, a little bit about our history, tell you a little bit more about our culture. We'll watch a minute or so video that will kind of show you our headquarters. We affectionately call our headquarters in San Antonio, Texas, the Castle. So when you go ahead and watch that video, I don't think it'll play audio. You'll kind of see why, but it'll just give you a little bit of a feel of what our headquarters looks like. And I think we'll give you that insight into at least what our physical culture looks like as well. And then I'll tell you a little bit more high level about Rackspace as a business, and then open it up for Q&A that I will try my best to answer or take notes of. Okay, so a little bit about Rackspace. So we were founded in 1998. So we are over 20 years old in terms of our company history. we absolutely love partnering with student organizations because the Rackspace story starts with students. So there's a small private university in San Antonio called Trinity University, and Rackspace was started as an idea of 3 Trinity University students. And they were doing a startup basically at a time before startups and that type of culture really existed. But they knew how to run a business, but they also knew how to align with folks that had or were smarter than them, right, in some of their capabilities as well. So another co-founder of the business that's pictured there in the middle is Graham Weston. He is an entrepreneur, very popular in San Antonio, gives back quite a bit to the community. And he was really the one that had set a lot of the standards and pace around Rackspaces that exist today, moving us into the cloud business, some of the destination experiences that you find as part of Rackspace culture. Graham was super integral in that and is still someone that is sought in terms of his feedback today. Our current CEO is very friendly with Graham and spends time there. So he's a super important part of our history. In addition to that, we've gone through several iterations as a 20-year-old company in the technology space. You can imagine we've had to reinvent ourselves many times, as well as move into many different markets. So we've changed quite a bit. The tagline for Rackspace has changed several times over the years. We recently refreshed our logo and went through a pretty big brand launch. But when I talk about culture on the next slide, you'll see some of the things that have really just kept the glue and really are the common threads across the entire course of Rackspace history. But just a little bit on the stats, we are a 6,000 about to 6,500 person company globally, headquartered in San Antonio, Texas, but have international headquarters. In the UK is going to be our largest presence outside of the United States, but we're doing a ton of hiring in India, Mexico, Australia, Switzerland. So we have a pretty big global footprint in terms of the size and the scale of the Rackspace business and where Rackers, or what we call our employees, where Rackers are distributed. So to go ahead and jump a little bit into our culture, Rackspace has been recognized for many years on Fortune 100 Best Places to Work, Great Places to Work, Forbes Best Companies, Best Technology Companies, Glassdoor Best Companies. So we've received a lot of Great Place to Work recognition, and it's something that we're super proud of, but we recognize that all of us, all Rackers, all employees, not just the executive team or HR, right? It's all Rackers that really contribute to making it an amazing place to work. And a lot of that has to do with the different, what I call destination experiences that are at Rackspace and make Rackspace special. So a couple of those that I'll kind of just dive into. One is Rack Gives Back. So that is our charitable arm and organization at Rackspace, and responsible for a huge impact on the communities that we work and play with. Each Racker, at least from a US standpoint, and then it's even more time off in other international regions, has 24 hours of paid time off to use how they wish to give back to the community. So something that's super important to us. And you'll also kind of sense that when you see on the next clip where I show you where Rackspace is headquartered. We actually moved into, and this was several years ago, but moved into an abandoned mall structure. It's over 1 million square feet, actually in Greater Texas. So it's technically in Windcrest, which is right outside San Antonio, in a space that really wasn't the greatest space, just in terms of the area around there. And again, it was an abandoned building, and we moved into this structure with the intent to bring jobs and business and economy to the area, and to also move into a building that otherwise would have sat vacant. So that type of just forethought and community involvement is very much ingrained across Rackspace. The other thing is that, and you'll find this when I talk a little bit about the business, we are absolutely obsessed with our customers and their businesses and what they want to accomplish. And that's really Rackspace's secret sauce and what we do. Our differentiator in the managed IT space is what we call fanatical experience, which basically is our mantra around how we service and support our customers and the products and services that they are purchasing from Rackspace. So you'll see in the right-hand corner there, we give out our highest company award is basically on a quarterly basis. We award a jacket to those who have exhibited just the highest standards of fanatical experience or servicing our customers. And there's a monetary component of that as well that Rackers receive, and it's a huge nomination process. So again, just recognizing and rewarding the behavior that is super important to our culture as well. And you'll see there as well, just on the bottom left, we really value inclusion at Rackspace and making a community all across all walks of life, backgrounds, etc. So we have several employee resource groups as well that are designed to support different communities at Rackspace, such as LGBTQ community and others as well. So you kind of see some of the symbols there. We actually have 14 different employee resource groups. Okay.
So that's the video?
Yes, I'm going to go ahead and see if it plays here. It was playing before.
The refresh rate is like 1 picture per second, but it seems to be trying to play.
Okay.
Yeah, it's working.
Okay, great.
And you said it would be without the sound, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Just kind of want to show you the headquarters, just so you can get a bit of a taste of it.
So you are right in San Antonio, or you are somewhere outside the city?
It's in San Antonio suburb, basically.
Uh-huh. And how many people work in this office? You said it's about 6,000 globally. How many?
Yeah, about 4,000.
Uh-huh. Oh, that's very sizable. All IT or IT and
no, several different functions. So all of our corporate functions, like corporate services, sales and marketing, business operations, change management office,
so these people we
support.
see the pictures. So are those engineers or customer service people, or who are they?
I don't know. They're Rackers. They're definitely our employees, but not quite sure exactly who's pictured in the video.
So you call yourselves Rackers?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah. Well, that's quite sizable. So was the building specifically built for you, or it's one of the older like?
Nope. So we moved into it. So it was an existing structure. It was an abandoned mall, and we moved into it. So they have remodeled through different phases. So we actually have phases 1 through 5 right now, and there's still. It's over 1 million square feet, so there's still a lot of space to be developed.
It's all open office, or it's a mix?
It is. Now it's a fully open office. Even our CEO sits on the floor. Huh. It's fully open concept.
You like it? We had a very interesting discussion not so long ago about the open office. Apparently at some point it was sort of, predicted to be the way of the future. And now some evidence emerges that it may be not as effective, but I would say now it could be like maybe a hybrid model would be best, where you have some private space if needed for deep work, and then maybe some open office for.
Yeah, I think that's absolutely right. Is like a mixture is probably best, and maybe better for different functions as well. So when I think about like the sales floor, they really feed off their energy. So having that open concept, I think, is super helpful. But as someone who works in HR, and we have confidential conversations, having an open floor plan is not always the best, suited. So oftentimes we're not at our desk quite frequently because we're continuously going into, a breakaway space. So to your point, I think it's like maybe the offices of the future should have a mix, a little bit in the middle. My background's in psychology, so I give the psychology answer of it's both. It should be both.
The reason we had that conversation not so long ago, there was the study that came out last year, a team of researchers at Harvard, and then some other schools, somehow managed to team up with five Fortune 500 companies that were moving from regular office space to open office space. And so they used those like badges, they call them. There's a name, like basically some sort of a device that you wear around your neck.
Right.
It records, essentially detects when you talk to other people, records how long, and all of that. Without copying the actual conversation content. And so they wanted to see if moving to open office fosters communication. And so what they found was that it was the opposite. So people talked to one another something like 17% less and relied on email 42% more, if I remember the numbers correctly. And so one of the reasons seems to be that when you're in a fully open office, as it was in this study, in some cases you sort of try to barricade yourself and shield yourself from distraction. And so noise canceling headphones and sort of.
That's right.
And they seem to believe still very much in the open office concept as a way to foster communication across departments and people. But as long as there is enough private space available, either for one-on-one meetings or if someone wants to shut down and sort of deep work without distractions, as long as those kinds of facilities are provided as well, open office may still be a very good way to go. So.
Right. I fully agree with all of those findings. It can be it like breaks down walls, to your point, right? When you kind of have that open concept and anyone can go up to anyone's desk. So I think that's nice in theory, but to your point, it can be super distracting. Yeah. And people will do things to get away, whether it's noise canceling headphones or to work all day in a private room or a breakaway space, simply because if they didn't, they feel like, they couldn't get what they needed to do done. So we're all smart people. We should be able to figure this out, right? Find something that meets in the middle.
We are trying, yes. Megan, we have quite a few questions. So were you planning to say more, or can we go directly to the questions?
So I was going to talk a little bit about the business. So I only have one more slide, if that's helpful.
So please go ahead.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely.
Right away.
So I won't go into kind of the other sharing mode. Hopefully you can see this fairly well. Can you see my PowerPoint?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Okay, great. So to talk a little bit about our business, again, high level, and what Rackspace does. Sorry, I just clicked off a bit. We are a B2B company. So you kind of kicked that off in the beginning to talk a little bit about, Rackspace is behind the scenes, not necessarily a company like an Amazon or a Google, right, or Target, right, that has a consumer-facing presence and therefore would be a potential household name. That is definitely not Rackspace, as our customers are not individual consumers, they are businesses. And basically what we do for the businesses and our customers that we support is we provide managed IT services. So you can imagine a business that maybe is a smaller business, right, a mom and pop shop, but they need to have a website to support their business, or may have some need for email, right? They might need a private email. They might need cloud capabilities, whatever that looks like. The idea is come to Rackspace and basically outsource your IT and let us help you as experts in this area solve your toughest challenges when it comes to technologies that support your businesses. So we do this across multiple of industries, healthcare, government, for other technology companies. We provide multiple services. So we provide services for applications, cybersecurity. We offer across all public, private, and hybrid cloud services as well. And then we are an expert in multiple platforms and technologies. So we partner with Amazon Web Services, or AWS. We partner, we're a premium partner with Microsoft, not only for their Office 365 capabilities, but also for the Microsoft Cloud, which is called Azure. We're a premier partner with Salesforce, offering CRM capabilities. So basically what we do is partner with those companies to offer those products, that we provide added value and services and management, again, back to the IT management, and management on top of those world's leading technologies. So again, our whole mantra when we think about our business and the value that we're providing our customers is that we are an expert across all verticals, all of these different technologies, and really can be your one-stop shop for all of your managed technology needs. We also consider ourselves unbiased, right? In that we partner with all of the world's leading clouds. So dependent upon what you need or what industry you need to operate in, we can provide value across whatever technology makes the most sense for you as a business.
So can you clarify that? I already got a few questions
Sure.
about that. So when you say any IT technology and you mentioned email, can you give examples of technologies that customers use or source with you?
Yeah, absolutely. So I kind of mentioned some of them. So for example, let's say someone, and you all might be familiar with cloud technology since they're taking over the world, right? Let's say someone is interested in migrating out of the data center and they want to use cloud-based technology, and they want to do that with Amazon Web Services. Well, to do that is super complicated, super expensive, and you have to employ IT professionals that are super expensive and hard to retain because the market is so challenging. The idea is come to Rackspace and let us help you migrate out of the data center to cloud-based technologies, and we can help you do that with Amazon Web Services, even though we're not Amazon. So we're providing a niche in the market that isn't necessarily provided by other companies. And let's say you don't know what cloud technology you want to use. There's a lot of options out there. We're going to help advise you on what makes the most sense for your business, as we consider ourselves an unbiased partner.
So what kind of companies do you work with? Because again, it sounds like all kinds of sizes and needs.
Yeah, that's right. Small business to enterprise customers. So, and you can kind of go on our site, some of the big customers that you all might be familiar with. Wyndham Hotels comes to mind. It's a very large company.
Well, they're very large, but I mean, like when you say small, how small? Are you talking about, like,
mom and pop flower shop?
Really?
Yeah.
Because X-Culture, we do have some technology needs. We have participants in over 100 countries, and we have immense amounts of data that go through us.
We have universities that are also customers as well.
It's kind of not really, all of us are affiliated with literally almost 200 universities this semester. But so anyway, and we still use, I'm not sure if it's a good thing or a bad thing, but we basically use Excel and Qualtrics for data collection and Excel for data management. To be, 20 years old. It serves us, but I wonder, maybe we'll talk more when we are in San Antonio. We do have
absolutely.
Some serious IT needs, and I was under the impression that you only serve big customers, big clients, but maybe. All right. So one important question then, when we look at the challenge presented by Rackspace, so ultimately the beneficiary essentially of the students' ideas will be a company called Racky. So from reading the challenge instructions, I'm under the impression that you not only provide IT services, but you also provide sort of consulting and managerial expertise. Is that correct?
That's right. So that's a huge.
Can you explain to us the whole?
Sure, absolutely. So basically, this is what I would call professional services. So you're not just buying the hardware or the infrastructure, which we can help with too, right? But you're also providing, or you're also buying, if you purchase professional services, consulting, whether it's an expert like a solution architect who's basically going to help design the customer solutions and what they need in the ideal technology stack and experience, or others, right, that can just help with optimization of the IT spends and needs. So that's exactly right. When we think about the value that Rackspace provides, it's really all around the consultancy, but also just around if something goes wrong, which ideally we're doing such a good job, nothing ever goes wrong and you never have to talk to us. But if you do, we're going to be there for our customers 24/7, 365, and you're going to talk to a human being. That's a huge value proposition that across some of our partner technologies, that's not something standard that they provide. You might have had an experience, if anyone is technical on the line, where you're trying to spin up a server with AWS, let's say. There's no one to call. Or if there is, you have to dig really hard to be able to go ahead and find that and get some assistance. The idea is with Rackspace, that's the value that we are providing to folks and serving a lot of industries that maybe aren't as technology driven. So that's really the value proposition, right? Or else why else would you come to Rackspace? We're really servicing you on other companies' products. Why else would you come to Rackspace to purchase? These are the value propositions that we provide. So hopefully that helps answer that. And Rappy, to kind of talk a little bit more about that, represents a customer that we would want to acquire. So Rappy's not a customer today, but it's a customer that we would like to acquire potentially, but at the very least represents an average or a typical customer that we would have or want to attract at Rackspace. And what we do as part of that customer acquisition process is try to understand what are the IT challenges that this business has, and how can we be partners with that business to help them solve it. So for example, Rappy, just scalability and growth are two challenges that they're trying to figure out. How can we help them figure that out through the use of technology? So it's about understanding customers' businesses and grading ourselves as partners, truly trying to understand those challenges and then how we can solve it and partnering there.
So to a large extent, then you not only provide IT services, but also the entire management consulting.
That's right.
Infrastructure around that IT solution, right?
Yep, that's right.
With Rappy, when I'm looking at the list of questions, they're not IT questions. They're pure business expansion, understanding the customer support type of questions.
Yep.
So in a space like yours, then who would be your competition? Because it's such an interesting, multifaceted model that I'm not even sure. So would it be more like Google and Microsoft, or would it be more like McKinsey and Deloitte?
It's both. It's both. It really just depends on what space we're talking about. So Rackspace, I'll kind of show you real quick just to kind of share, if okay here. Bear with me. My web browser.
And while we are opening the slides, so we have quite a few students here live with us, and I see there are a few watching the streaming and sending me questions by email. So if you guys have questions, you can ask them several ways. One, obviously, you can type the question in Q&A, and we have a window for that specifically. Or you can raise your hand. You have a button at the bottom of the screen that literally looks like raised hand. And if you have a microphone and a video camera, we can join you, add you to our virtual room here, and you can ask your questions live. And so that's one of your rare opportunities to talk directly to Megan. So don't be shy. Raise your hand. We'll add you here. But for now, let's go over the slides. Yes.
Okay. Yeah, absolutely. So this is Rackspace.com. I strongly encourage everyone to take a peek because you're going to get a lot of information just about Rackspace. How do we position ourselves, the scale and the scope of our business. But you'll also get a sense, and this is what I wanted to show you, just around the services and the products that we provide, right? So for example, we can help someone with setting up Salesforce and optimizing that system and getting them really Salesforce, right? And providing the support that they need in case something goes wrong. But when we talk about professional services, these are added capabilities and optimization that customers can add on when they set up business with Rackspace, where we can help with all of these. Basically, I would call them challenges that businesses have when they're engaging with technology, when they're trying to scale or grow or move into new countries. These are all the things that a business could be facing in terms of their technology migration. But the idea is that whether you're trying to migrate out of the data center or you're trying to optimize your stack and save money, we can help you there. Or whether you're in need of some serious cybersecurity protection, which, as we all know, cybersecurity is a huge hot topic right now when it comes to technology and what businesses are doing. These are all things that we can provide and help. So strongly encourage you to check this out, just simply because I think it'll give you a sense of all the things. And then when we talk about platforms or technologies, you're going to start to get a sense of all the technologies that, and companies that we partner with, like Google. So to your point, it's both in terms of we compete with other technology companies that you might be thinking about. But when we talk about our professional services and our consultancy offerings, that's when we are competing with more of the classic Deloitte and some of the other consulting agencies.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's quite impressive. Several students are asking them, so how do you market and promote your services? How do you advertise? How do you acquire clients? What is the nature of your sort of promotion strategy at this time?
Yeah, absolutely. So a lot of it is digital marketing. As you can imagine, our target customers are businesses. So really feel like they sit in the digital space, or will at least go to look for customers in the digital space. So quite a bit of digital marketing. And then we also do a lot of partner events. So there's a lot of conferences, a lot of conventions across the globe that will either be major sponsors in or participants. And many times we partner through what we call the channel network, meaning we are working with these partners, right, like Amazon and Google or Microsoft, to basically work existing customers in the pipeline to basically close, let's call them combo deals, right, where both businesses are benefiting from acquiring this customer. So we'll work in partnering with them to capitalize on our marketing. So those are some of the ways.
Mm-hmm. Well, that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Now, going back to Rappi, so do we correctly understand that the sort of narrative or story for the challenge is the following? So there is the company called Rackspace. It specializes in IT and business consulting. It has a potential client called Rappi.
Mm-hmm.
And so you're trying to sort of impress them and study them so that you can effectively both sell the services, but also serve them well. And so here is a description of the company, what they do, how they operate, and a bunch of questions they need to answer. And so the answers that the students will provide will allow you to better position yourself to acquire Rappi as your customer and then serve them well. Is that how this sort of...
That's exactly right.
Yeah,
that's exactly right.
Yeah,
hopefully that's not causing too much confusion.
No,
that's exactly right.
Yeah, I like it very much because it's a sort of like a two-level or two-dimensional challenge. And we've never had one of those, but it's a very typical type of challenge for B2B companies. And so I think for the students, it will be very beneficial to sort of see this side of business, because in most cases we think about, somebody made a phone and trying to sell it. No, sometimes, especially if you're in kind of R&D or white collar type of business, you have to sort of go through multiple stages before you get to the end customer. So
that's exactly right.
Absolutely. Makes perfect sense. So students, if you have any questions, you can ask them now, but I want to go when you were introducing yourself, you mentioned that you were talent acquisition manager. Mm-hmm. And right away, I had a few questions from students who said, is this basically hiring, HR? So, and if so, what would it take to get a job at a company like Rackspace? What kind of courses the students should focus on? How they should build their resume? So what are the things that you would be looking for? What are the things that would impress you to hire someone for a company like Rackspace? Yeah,
absolutely. So you're absolutely right. Talent acquisition, that's hiring. So that's what I do. And I actually, as part of my brand manager role, I lead university recruiting, university level recruiting and partnerships for Rackspace. So in terms of what we would look for and kind of just what courses, et cetera. So as mentioned, we're a 6,000 person company. So we really have quite a bit of opportunity in our industry. So obviously technology jobs, software developers, engineers, computer science and computer engineering type students. But we also have opportunity for MBA type students, right? And like business operations, our project and program management office. We have tons of finance, legal, HR type roles, database, data analytics, lots of operations type roles. So because we're a large company, we have those roles and we have them across the globe. Really just in terms of like, course of study, just kind of painting, right? Like any of those majors that would align with those or any of those types of opportunities, we have quite a few at Rackspace. So it really just depends. I don't know exactly, what all the students are in or kind of do that are participating in this challenge. It's probably pretty diverse, but there's tons of opportunity. In terms of what we look for that I think, gives students a competitive just edge is we look for students that are hungry and humble. So students that want to learn. So we do Gallup-based strengths assessments at Rackspace. So if you're familiar, maybe not, Strengths Finder assessment. Every new employee that joins the company takes the Gallup Strengths Finder assessment, and we get our top 5 strengths, and then we get like these little name tents. We put them on our desk, and it says our name, title, and our strengths on them. And the number one strength, the most frequent strength at Rackspace in the top 5 is learner, which is basically likes to learn, and acquire new knowledge. So that really kind of speaks to when I say someone that's hungry. We're looking for folks and students that want to learn from others and really grow. Humble is super important. We like to say we don't hire brilliant jerks, and that's really true.
That's exactly what I wanted to ask, because when you watch movies about, especially the Silicon Valley, companies, it almost seems like these days it's very popular to be, as you said, a brilliant jerk. And everybody loves to love Steve Jobs, but I hear it's not very good or easy to work with someone like him. So.
Right. Yeah, that's exactly right. And again, that's our culture, right? You're going to find companies with different cultures, and more importantly, you need to find ones that work for you. Sometimes, being super competitive, right, is something that drives you and that makes the most sense. And then different cultures might make the most sense. But for us, we are looking for humble. And I think that really feeds into learner. I feel like you can't have that appetite to really want to grow and learn if you're not willing to say, I don't have all the answers yet, especially as a new student, and wanting to seek out knowledge. So those are some of the important things. And the last thing I'll say, just from a university perspective, is we really are looking for students that participate in things like this, like the X Culture competition, because at the end of the day, you kind of look around at the universities that you're in, and you might have 400 people or whatever that looks like that are taking all the same classes as you. Right. What makes you special and stand out are the things that you do in what I call experiential learning, whether it's through internships, through participating in competitions, volunteering, working in, working for a professor, doing TA or research or whatever, just looking for those things that you have really taken your own education into your own hands and went and tried to learn something new outside of the classroom. That's super important, and we think it helps students stand out.
Yeah, we've had literally hundreds of webinars over the years, and every time we have a manager, students ask these same questions. And what you just said, everybody says that. So students don't think that it's just Megan Goodman's personal opinion. It seems to be everybody says, I get 100 applications, everybody looks the same. Good school, good GPA, some summer experience at some McDonald's, and that's it. And so you want to stand out. So you want to show some experience, especially experiential learning. Yeah, that makes perfect sense.
Yeah, and absolutely. Yeah, that's 100% right. And to your point, hopefully not just an opinion of mine, but I think too, like being realistic with opportunity, we're very realistic there, right? So for example, not everyone can get an internship. Maybe they have to have a job, like a summer job that pays more or something like that for, personal circumstances. That's totally fine. But are you taking the time when you have the time to do some online learning, something that just requires time and maybe not necessarily money or something like that? So we're really just looking. I challenge you all, like if you're feeling like that's not realistic for me to spend even more time than I'm already doing from a university perspective, how can you optimize your time and look for other challenges that allow you to enable, your own certain experiences for your families?
Very wise words. Piyush, I see your question, but your question is sort of so complicated and so multifaceted. So I thought I would add you to the panel so you can ask it yourself. If you have a microphone, go ahead.
Yeah, thanks, Vas. Hello, Megan. It's
Hi.
Piyush here. Piyush from India. So it was interesting to hear about the Rackspace story. I've been following the story right from the start, like how Rackspace has developed over the years. And I was looking at your proposition, like you are trying to acquire Rappi, right?
Yes.
I mean, as a client, as a partner.
Yes, that's correct.
So basically, what would be your interest and what would be your approach towards acquiring Rappi? Are you in contact with some people, or are you going to present some proposition on Rackspace proposition overall?
That's a question I'd have to take offline. I'm not 100% sure. The person that wrote the business case, unfortunately, he couldn't be with us. He's actually on paid time off right now, but that's a question that I can try to understand a bit better and respond just around where are we in terms of conversations. I think that's basically what you're asking, right?
Exactly. I mean,
Okay.
not necessarily what stage are you at now, but I'd like to understand how would you approach, or what should be on our minds, like as a student participating in X Culture Symposium, what should be on our minds so that we prepare our solutions and present it to Rackspace. That's what I was trying to understand.
Sure. Yeah. So I would say some of the things that should be top of mind for you all is understanding. And that's why I encourage you to check out .com, Rackspace.com, and just check out like our about section and really read about how we are positioning ourselves. Like Rackspace.com is a total marketing site, right? So when you're reading it, you're reading how we are trying to position ourselves to customers, right? So read through that. I strongly encourage you. But when I think about what you should have top of mind is that we position ourselves to customers as unbiased partners for wherever they are in their technology and cloud journey. So whether you are trying to, again, migrate out of the data center into the cloud, or whether you're already an enterprise customer, you have a ton of technology and infrastructure, and you're just trying to figure out how do I save money or optimize my technology stack. Those are two very different, when you think about IT transformation, those are two very different spots in a company's technical journey. We position ourselves as we'll meet you wherever you are in your journey and help you with whatever you are trying to accomplish as a business. So I think that's one thing is that positioning of an unbiased expert in this space. And that for us, our most important mantra is essentially everything's about our customers. It's something we are absolutely, totally obsessed with in understanding their business and how we can provide value. And that's really how we differentiate ourselves from other players. Like the Rackspace vision, and I probably should have mentioned this, is not to be like the best technology company in the world, or to, be super innovative or something like that. Other, technology mantras that you might hear. With the Rackspace vision is to be the world's best IT services company, to be the best services company. So that idea around services is, in some circumstances, even more important than the technology. Although everything that we do is technology, but it's really around servicing customers. So really think about that when you think about, your business case and how you're looking at it. Hopefully that helps.
Yeah, so the important
yes,
thing is you're not trying to sell a specific IT project or product, but rather assess the needs and then assemble a package of tools and services that the client would benefit from without trying to hard sell him or her.
That's right.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And also, like, we recently just launched what we call service blocks, which basically allows customers to not be locked into a particular, and again, I'm not super technical, so bear with me, but basically allows customers to pick and choose what they need and how much they need of it in terms of different services, and for us to scale up and scale down as customers need it. That's something that we recently just launched in terms of how we structure our pricing and how we go to market, recognizing that, to your point, the way we are as technology and business have become so integrated and global and grown, we can't assume a one-size-fits-all solution anymore. So yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, a little over time. We always try to keep them to 45 minutes. Everybody's busy. But Megan, so as we're preparing for the event, would it be then okay to send you questions if new questions arise, something that we have not answered here, or who would be the right?
Absolutely. So I sent over that link. It should be an Excel link. I can also just put it back at the top of your inbox, but would definitely want you to just send that to all of the participants, and then they can enter questions in there. And the idea is like everyone can see everyone's questions, so everyone's kind of seeing the same answers. So let's do it that way.
Yep, that sounds very good. So this way we don't even have to keep the database of frequently asked questions. Everybody can see everything right there.
That's right.
Yeah, and so, and then students, again, once we're in San Antonio on day one, we will have a meeting with the company representatives, larger team. So you'll have enough opportunities to ask more questions, and then a couple more days to finish your proposals. And then the presentations will be happening on the last day. So, and that's usually where the real action starts.
Yes.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Megan. Truly appreciate your help. And thank you everybody who was here with us live. Those of you watching the recording, hopefully all your questions have been answered as well. And yeah, we'll see you in 2 weeks in San Antonio.
Thanks so much. Super excited. Appreciate your time.
Thank you. Thank you.
Bye.